Mama Me and the Model T. It was fall in the Georgia mountains, where my stepdad went to town. Mr. Long left early one morning when the leaves were turning to gold. Beautiful painting. Mama and us 5 Circe young'uns gathered in the yard with the 7 Long kids to say goodbye. It was me that Mr. Long winked at. "Andy girl," he said, "I'll be bringing home a surprise when I come home today." And he did. Do you guys remember the scripture about the winking eye? He who winks with his eye causes trouble. We were setting the table for dinner when we heard pow, rackety-pow. Us young'uns knew that the only thing that could make such a grand and glorious sound was a motor car, said my brother Larry Ray. Girls, sure enough, down the road came a Model T chugging along the pasture fence, scaring the mules and the cows. It lurched into the yard, burping and hissing, and it came to a stop with a honk of the horn. Arooga! Rackety-pow! Earl Long gave out a whoop. "Papa bought a motor car!" Mary Lucy, the youngest Long, grabbed my hand tight and we hurried outside with the others, cheering and laughing. All of us gathered around the car with the barking dogs. "Who wants a ride in the Model T?" Mr. Long asked, climbing out of the car with a great big smile. "Me!" us young'uns yelled together. We crowded into the motor car, all us Circe kids and the Longs, one of the dogs, 2 cats, Jimmy Long, my brother Robert perched on the running boards. Mama and Mr. Long could barely squeeze in. We were sitting on legs and standing on toes, poking elbows and ribs and noses and hairs. Mr. Long drove. We rackety-putted all around the farm. We bounced and jiggled down to the spring. We rattled by our cotton fields. We joggled round the barn and splashed through the creek. And at last we stopped at the front porch. Rooga! "Now gather round, boys," Mr. Long said when we'd all piled out. "You'll be driving this motor car someday. You girls, you step back." "Cars are for boys," said Larry Ray. He scrambled up with the other boys as Mr. Long told them what to push and what to pull and what to twist. "Who remembers all that?" he asked when he turned the crank on the car, and the car roared to life. "I do," said all the boys together. "I do," said Mama and Kate Long, and me along with them. Mr. Long edged us girls aside. "Pay attention, boys, while I show you again. Men need to learn to drive." "And girls don't," Kermit Long said. "Girls just ride." Well, once again, Mr. Long set the levers and he turned the crank and the Model T went rackety-put-put-put, rackety-put. "Any man can do it," he said. Mama took off her apron and she handed it to me. "Then so can any woman." "Yes," all the girls said. "No," yelled the boys. "Wait," said Mr. Long, leaping to block her path, but Mama was too quick for him. She dodged round his reaching hand and sprang into the motor car. "Get in the house, young'uns," Mr. Long yelled, grabbing Mary and Lucy and Larry Ray. But I didn't go. I dropped Mama's apron and I jumped into the motor car with her. "We'll show 'em," I said. Mama gave a little wave and a great big smile, and the engine roared and the Model T jolted backward across the yard. "Oh, my!" Mama cried as the car lunged into the clothesline. push that left pedal, I screamed, and Mama did, and the car leaped forward, dragging the clothesline behind. We tore across the yard, cut through the flower bed, and bouncing over the wood pile. Clang-a-bang, clang-a-bang, pow! We scraped under the branches of the pear tree, and the fruit rained down on us. We bobbed across the stump at the edge of the yard and ran over the crepe myrtle bush. When we clipped the... Rosie, just lay down, okay? When we clipped a scarecrow in the garden, its hat landed on my head. Around the barn, we zoomed once, twice, then a third time. Mama flattened a pine sapling before tearing through the pasture fence and shimmying over a hill. Mama turned the steering wheel and the car swung in a wide half circle, and she yelled, "I'm learning! Rooga! Thumpity thump thump, bonkety bonk." "You sure are," I yelled back, "but the road's over there." "Oh, so it is," Mama said, turning again and bumping across a ditch. When at last we got to the road, somehow Mama stayed mostly on it. "Guess we showed them who could drive a car," she shouted. "So let's go home," I answered. And we pulled into the yard. We saw Mr. Long and the string of Circe and Long young'uns running to meet us. Mama stopped the car with a pow and a long "Rooga," and then we stepped out. "This motor car has a mind of its own," Mama said. "It's not the only one," Mr. Long replied. He took a deep breath and mopped his face with a handkerchief. Then he smiled at Mama and all us young'uns. "I guess," he said, "this Model T belongs to all of us." And it did.